Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent. Currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Fantastic. How about yourself, Ozzy? Uh-oh.
Or is everything okay? Like what?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I understand it's preseason, but the Raiders still lost, and I wasn't sure if you wanted to,
Oh. Oh, yeah. No,
dig.
it's preseason. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
But,
I
I
understand
mean,
it's preseason, but you seeing an L next to a Raider game is something that brings a smile to your face.
no, it would have, been more fun if the normal, plan happened where the Raiders do great in preseason and you get super excited and you're like, they're gonna be great this year. This is awesome. This is our year. And then they do what they do every regular season and choke. But if they start out this way, maybe this is meaning they're gonna be, reasonable this year.
One can only hope. Also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
Chilling.
Chilling. Yep. That's what I figured. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have the pleasure of reviewing the film from 1965 that was Those Magnificent Men in Their Flying Machines, or How I Flew to London from London to Paris in 25 hours and 11 minutes. Released on June 16th, 1965. Todd, do you have a trailer ready?
Yes, I do. Almost as long as the movie.
Man has conquered the heavens, broken the sound barrier, reached out for the moon. Now, after 2 years of production, the expenditure of millions, the assembling of an internationally renowned cast of stars, 20th Century Fox proudly brings you the fabulous, fantastic story of the men whose skill and courage started it all.
Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They entangle the ladies and steal the scene with their up to the up, and then down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the crown. Right through the scene, those magnificent men in their flying machines.
Not even halfway there.
Oh my God, it is like the movie.
Do we get an intermission
With
for
aviation
the
today is that too
trailer?
many good ideas are being dissipated in too many aeroplanes. If we could bring together all these different types from all over the world, then everyone could learn from each other. From all over the world.
From all over the world they came. America, Italy, Germany, France, Japan, England, to compete in the first, the most fabulous, the most foolhardy air race of all time. And here was the English beauty who had them all up in the air.
Are you two fighting over me?
The trouble with these international affairs is that they attract foreigners.
Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They entangle the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground. There, oh, rightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flight.
He's not supposed to carry passengers.
All the stars I don't know.
Don't push me! Don't push me! No!
Oh, let's go.
Entangle the ladies and steal the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Those magnificent men, those magnificent men, those magnificent men in their flying machine.
Okay, that was the trailer for Those Magnificent Men and Their Flying Machines, or How I Flew from London to Paris in 25 hours and 11 minutes, released on June 16th, 1965, and actually finished on July 17th, 1968. So actually 3 years. Just kidding. Runtime actually has 138 minutes, which is 2 hours 18 minutes. Rated G, was released on June 16th, 1965. That was no joke. Directed by Ken Anakin, written by Jack Davies, as well as Ken Anakin, as also starring Stuart Whitman, Sarah Miles, and James Fox. So initial thoughts on this, how it came to be. This was actually recommended to me by my girlfriend's cousin's husband, Tom. And Tom, I love you, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to completely go into things right now. I actually thought this had a really strong beginning and I was on board with everything. But then the subplot of Sarah Miles's character, Patricia, all of a sudden the focus was her needing to be up in the air. And I didn't care much for that at all.
Kind of hoary, if you ask me.
Well, I'll go find a man who will fly me in the air. You know, so I felt subtracting that focus could have shaved about 45 minutes off this movie, and we could have had some more focus on the other competitors in this race. Kind of had a feel sort of it's a mad, mad, mad world, except well, that had a very long runtime. I mean, I always saw it when I was a kid, and we have yet to review that again. So
I've never seen it.
really, okay, interesting. I still got that same vibe, but the subplot of her needing it to get in the air just kind of made things drag and slow down a little bit, just to almost felt like a distraction. Like they wanted to have a movie that was over 2 hours and nearly 2 hours and 18 minutes, which, by the way, there is a 6-minute intermission in the middle of this movie. It's 2 minutes of the sign of intermission, and then it's 4 minutes of a black screen with the overture, I guess, in the theater to let people know, okay, come back inside. We're gonna get started.
What's really funny is when that happened, I was like, oh, there's the screen, and then it went black and played the music. And I was just picturing like Ozzy stepping outside, just yelling for the entire rest of the intermission, going, "It's only intermission? Are you kidding me?" And then coming back and being like, "It's still intermission."
Well, yeah, just that subplot really slowed things down for me. And so when it's like intermission, why couldn't we just tell the stories we were going to tell after intermission before there's the intermission and not have what's her face be a big deal at all? And we could honestly shave nearly an hour off this movie. I'm sorry, Todd, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the visions of the intermission might have raised this rating up a little.
It's almost like a mercy break. Like, hey, take a break because we know this is bad, or take a break because we know this is rough. Because here's the thing: if you actually take what was filmed, or this theatrical version of 2 hours and 18 minutes, and you were to take out all the scenes involving that subplot, take out the intermission, and just mash them together, you could get like a good hour 30, hour 40 out of it, and it wouldn't feel. It wouldn't feel old because I kind of had the same vibe as Cannonball Run. It was a race across the country. This is a race across the world.
This is no Cannonball Run, sir.
Okay, I just said it was reminiscent. Cannonball Run obviously came out afterwards, so this could have been an inspiration. Be like, well, we can do this much better, right? So
it was obviously it's a mad, mad world. I mean, kind of this one too. I figure,
right. Well, okay.
Rat Race.
So Rat Race is more like, the way I see it in my head is that you had It's Mad, Mad, Mad World inspired Rat Race. I could see this movie inspiring Cannonball Run.
Okay. I
mean, we don't have to agree, but I can just see it happening. As being, I'm sorry, I totally hugged it. How about your guys' initial thoughts?
Well, I'd never even heard of this film. I have to say there are some. I was excited because I do like classics, and I grew up with Red Skelton, and so like I was stoked. I do have to say the falsities that the trailer has were rather disappointing. The complete and utter lack of slide whistle in the actual film was frustrating.
The fact that that was the first thing you brought up as a frustration is so on brand.
I was hoping for it.
Of course, like of course.
But
That's hilarious.
yeah, I was very excited to check out this movie. And I agree with you so far, Ozzy. Like I do think it was pretty long. Although I have to say, like, this is a perfect, like, if you're sick, and I'm gonna give this like the chicken noodle award of like if you just have to have a movie playing in the background while you get some rest. This is a great fun adventure you could kind of zone out to, you know. So yeah, I think that this I agree with the length being an issue, but I was still having some fun with it throughout the whole series.
It kind of reminded me of like the classic live action Disney films, right?
Ah,
Except maybe
It's not
this.
good.
Okay, so all right, right, okay. Yes. But just think about it this way: how we have our own comedies today in comparison towards regular movies. This was a comedy in comparison towards a regular movie. Like it felt like it still had.
This was the cat from outer space. I'm just telling you that right now.
No, duh, right? But it's I think it was the outlandish characters that maybe had like the set. It had like a sense of familiarity to it. That this would be something that I would find on a Walt Disney home video catalog
This is
next
one
to
of
the
those.
computer wore tennis shoes.
This is one of those like '60s family pictures.
And
Like,
that's what it is. I think it's more
Yeah.
a family picture that
Yeah.
has a little bit more humor rather than just a flat out comedy.
right.
Because
Right.
I think the genre was still being defined at that time.
Full
And-
disclosure, I don't like that genre. Like
Right.
chitty chitty bang bang and yeah, no.
Although having a roll in the hay is pretty risque for family.
This is true.
It almost the first 5 minutes of the movie was just you had the voiceover, and it reminded me of the old. I know these cartoons were trying to be like that specifically, but it still reminded me of the old Goofy cartoons with how to, and
Right.
you hear the announcer in the background that would be instructing him how to go. It you had that same voiceover going with just failed plane attempts, failed flying attempts, and for a second you think to yourself, could this be a whole movie? Like, is this the 1965 version of Jackass?
That's
Right.
2 hours and 19 minutes of that.
Wow, man. Okay, so what was stuff
I
like
might have been more entertained.
right? So Ted, did you have any initial thoughts on this?
I don't know if it was what was longer, the movie, the trailer, or my initial thoughts. I don't know. I'll be honest. I fell asleep. My room was complete black, and I realized I was in intermission.
He wakes up and the music's just going.
He was like, "Is this end credits?" Oh, wait.
No, then I rewound and realized I still like yeah. So it was a long watch, but
Wait, you rewound?
You scrolled.
You
We all
scrolled back.
scrolled.
But it has the back arrow back.
Rewind. You're not
I think it still
winding
does
anything.
say. Does it still say? Does it say reverse or rewind on the?
It may say reverse,
Nah, maybe.
but you still forward. You fast forward. How's it any? I don't know. To rewind means go backwards. I'm saying it still works. God,
It's.
Well,
I still
it's
call the
rewinding
Nintendo
because
Switch a
you're
Game Boy.
winding the film. That's why it's called
Yeah.
rewind. So it should be reverse.
And you
Alright.
still are moving forward fast, so that's fitting.
This is true.
Speaking of moving forward, we should move forward to
Yeah.
any favorite moments that we had in this movie.
I'm trying to make
One,
this as long as the movie itself. Come on, us.
uh, the one that I had
The
was
one.
one that was actually featured. Yeah, the one that I had. I should say it was, I guess, the one that made me crack up the most. I guess mainly because I wasn't expecting it.
God, I
And
hope
that
it's on
was
the
when-
same thing.
Well, it's when they set it up by saying, here comes somebody with a new way of landing or a new invention way of landing, and they drop the anchor, and it ruins the plane. And that made me bust up, but it also made me kind of think in retrospect of things. So last year, was it? No, 2 years ago. It was in 2022 that BlackBerry came out.
Yes.
So that was retelling a loosely based story about the creation of BlackBerry, right? Which happened like 2005, right? So it
Mhm.
was like 17 years, looking at the past 17 years and just kind of toying around with that potentially fictionalized version of history. I think when this movie came out, this looked at the period of 1910 when, at the time, if you look at the comparison of technology, how cell phone usage blew up and is now a mainstay in everyday life in
Mhm.
2022. At the time that movie came out in 1965, when airlines hadn't even been privatized yet. They were still owned by the government, owned and operated by the government. Because that didn't happen until Jimmy Carter. So to see a humorous, fictionalized tale of people uh, learning, testing out, and flying these flying machines, so to speak, I
Mhm.
think gave it a little more oomph
Mhm.
at the time of release.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more Monty Python, with
From
how
the trailer,
Ooh.
you kinda got
Yeah.
that vibe, and especially from the
Yeah.
intro that actually sings the song, it kind of, like, sets you up for that.
And let me tell you, that song is on par with the Joe Hendry song for Getting Stuck in Your Head. Like,
Yeah.
I had so many moments because I watched the trailer and all that fun stuff. Yeah, it would still pop in from time to time. But for favorite moments,
Hates to pop in.
yes. Uh, so I'd have to stick with Red Skelton's bits. Like his opening and closing of that was just it was perfect. Like that kind of fit the Monty Python esque, like weirdness that I was expecting. And
Uh-huh.
I think maybe it fits with the I mean, we all love those goofy cartoons we grew up with. So him trying to fly in the beginning as a Neanderthal and then at the end kind of being that passenger to kind of bring everything full circle
Right.
and kind of getting goofy. That was a fun bit of zaniness that I think because I was expecting it all movie, that it was nice to have that payoff at least a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm. Todd?
I have one. And of course, it involves some of Ozzy's favorite bits. So it was right after I forget her name was told, she's not allowed to fly with them. And they're going outside and they're just walking and they're talking. He's like, "Oh no, worry, you can drive my car." And I laughed so hard at how happy she was she got to drive because women didn't get to drive then. So
It
Yeah.
was 1910.
just her excitement, I don't know, made me have the biggest laugh to the whole film. So there you go.
So, now we'll just move on to the reviews. To the point that was made about this being more of a family film with a humorous slant. This is a movie that you could see with the family. That would be a maybe an MGM release.
And
Is
nothing
actually
nothing
20th
kid
Century Fox, but like definitely family friendly for sure. With very, very um clean but slapstick humor that you could see with the kids. However, at the same time, the 2 hour and 18 runtime will deter anyone.
nothing says kid friendly like over 2 hours in an intermission. for
Yeah.
kids.
Actually, if you want to have some fun when intermission comes on, see if they can pronounce the word and see if they can tell you what it means.
This movie's too damn long.
Precisely. However, it does have the value of being a family film with some humorous moments and a story that you could, like Greg, to your point, you just want to have it on just to kill the time. This is something that you could follow along with and see what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
So it serves a purpose. So it not terrible, not one of my favorites, probably not one I'm gonna watch again, but is average. So I'll give it a 3.
That's definitely a fair score. I've been thinking about it because, like I said, if it was one of those movies that was a trying to rest, want something soothing, something that like just kind of has a feel good vibe to it, which a lot of those classic films do, I'd have probably given this a 3.5. But overall, like it was fun. It wasn't amazing. I didn't laugh. I think I was expecting a different thing, and maybe that's my fault going into it with a certain expectation. So I'm going to only give it a 2.5, especially because the lack of slide whistle.
The lack of slide whistle really knocked it down half a point.
It did. I mean, you advertised me false goods. So.
Todd?
I really didn't like this one. It was definitely not for me.
I almost wish I could have been with you as you were watching it. And I would have
You
been
know, you
more
would
enjoyed
you
seeing
would have
your
woke me
reaction
up
to
a
the
few
movie.
times. Wake up.
You got to see this.
Oh,
Did I?
man. I'm gonna give it a 1. I didn't like it. I want my time back. It was rough. I do not like this period of like family comedies. Like I hate Chitty Gang.
I'm sure you love that one.
Bang,
Todd just
bang.
gave us insight as to what he was watching last night, no doubt.
There we go. 1. That one gets a 5. I had another point, but I don't remember it yet. 1.
That's funny. Okay, so it's a 1 from Todd. Okay. Well, actually, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perception, this film is only available for rent or purchase wherever you purchase your favorite digital content. Is currently not available to stream at this time, but this is as of August
Damn it,
11th.
Disney.
Things can change at any time. Well, yeah, it is a 20th Century Fox release, so it is under the Disney umbrella now. So
Can
there you go.
anybody else who's seen Deadpool look at that 20th Century Fox logo the same? Like, have you seen it yet, Ozzy?
I haven't.
Like, he says a few things about 20th Century Fox, which are delightful.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I will co-sign.
Okay. All right. Well, looking forward to that. And if you are looking forward to this movie, you can check it out by renting it or purchasing it again, wherever you to consume your favorite digital content. Not a recommendation from Todd. Not a recommendation from Todd. But if you're looking for something you can watch with the kids, maybe as you guys are like all building Legos, that might be something to just
Watch
have
a
on.
Popeye episode instead.
I will actually second that personally. So before we head out for the evening, just a quick update. A few things for this week. Monday, I'll be hosting trivia at the Rush Barn Grill in Lake Forest, 6:30. Tuesday at the brewery in Placentia, 7 o'clock. Wednesday in Los Alamitos at Griffin's Grill, 7:30. I will no longer be at the Honey Pot Meadery as that is being hosted in-house. It's like when you go to your mechanic and you're like, I saw what to do online. Let me just borrow your tools. But, teach their own. And lastly, this Saturday, August 17th, 3PWA will present Brawling Brews over in Ridgecrest. I'm sorry, not Ridgecrest, Crestline. Crestline, which is near Lake Arrowhead. So if you're in the area, feel free to check that out, and I will see you there. Do you guys have anything before we head out for the evening?
Oh, check out this film. Get right on it. No, it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it not for everybody. It's definitely for some people. There's an audience that this movie is perfectly for.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not one of us three. Especially since there's no slide whistle.
Yeah. I mean,
on-
if that was there, I'm sorry. 5 out of 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd, I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.